Hey, this is Matt from InvestiQuant. Today is Tuesday, October 10, 2023. The markets have bounced over the past two sessions, and we've come off the lows, closing above many of the recent closing prices. We closed at a 10-day closing high yesterday. However, we're still below some kind of shorter-term moving averages because we were so stretched to the downside. We're gonna take a look at that unique pattern here this morning. I've got all four instruments selected. Our setup's based upon entering long at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, exiting at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, this study is very different depending on which gap direction you're opening in for the day. So we just tested at the gap down. That looks like we're closer, or we're there at the moment. So I'm going to go with that. I have no idea if we're gapping up or down. It's a pretty flat open at the moment. But because it is very different depending on the direction, I'm going to go ahead and pick one and not just put them together. All right, next thing I need to do is go to the price patterns library. And I'm going to say yesterday closed at a 10-day closing high. I'm going to grab that from here, hit the equal sign next to it. And then lastly, from the indicators library, I'm going to say yesterday closed below a 20-day simple moving average. That's over here in the active today section, or right there. Got that selected. That's all I'm going to put. This is a pretty rare pattern, so I don't want to put anything else on it and get rid of samples. All right, let me go ahead and click view results. All right, here we go. These are the results based upon entering the market long at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, exiting at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time. When you are opening lower following a 10-day high close that is below a 20-day simple moving average. Historically, very few samples here. We've just got 13 here in the S&P, and we've got data going back 20 years, so very rare. 13 in the S&P, we've got 11 in the NASDAQ, 12 in the Dow, 13 in the Russell. Win rates on these coming in fairly weak across the board. S&P the weakest of the group at 15% of those closing above the opening print. NASDAQ 45%, Dow 25%, Russell 46%. If you take a look at the average moves, average move on the downside larger in the S&P and the NASDAQ and the Dow. And then for the Russell, they're about the same size. So three of the four a little bit or larger on the downside. Russell the same size. Win rates on these all less than 50%, with the S&P being the weakest at 15%. Keep in mind, this is a small sample size. There's not a whole lot to look at here. So don't put too much emphasis on any small sample size study we look at, but historically it has been weak on this unique pattern. Hopefully you found that helpful. Good luck today. We will see you next time.